Gear Supreme. Raiders of resale, living the dream. From whatnot to eBay, we score the loot. Vintage finds in every pursuit. Tips to cash in, stories so grand. Reselling Raiders, rulers of the land. Reselling Raiders, treasure we chase. Hat house fired up, coaching the race. Vintage hat shirts, golf gear supreme. Raiders of resale, living the dream. Oh, tune in, hear the lore. Reselling Raiders, always more.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Hat House. We're live on the Raiders Reselling Podcast. I'm Hat House, joined by Coach Porch and Fired Up Finds. Tonight, we're definitely going to deep dive into sorting and grading. When we get a bunch of stuff, we got to be able to do that quickly to make some money. That's going to be our main theme. And we do want to hear from you guys too. We had an awesome chat last podcast. We want everybody to get down in the chat. Hit us with your questions. What do you want to talk about too? We definitely want to get to that. So shout us out there. And we did it. We've arrived. We're international. All the way-
International, baby.
We had
Mr. Worldwide.
worldwide international downloads from Canada to Australia. Huge shout out to the international audience. Really
Yeah.
appreciate you guys. So keep downloading. Let us know where you're at. It's really fun to kind of look at the map and see where everybody's downloading the show. So that is awesome. And just a reminder, you can get this episode anywhere you can get your podcasts: Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Apple. I need to check on Amazon though. I don't know if we're actually on Amazon Podcasts. So
What's
I need to-
Amazon?
I think you can just like with your Amazon Prime membership, you can listen to podcasts there too. So
If
I don't
we're not on Amazon, I've never even heard of Amazon.
right, I think that would definitely like double or triple our listenership,
Mm-hmm.
viewership,
Yeah.
something ship. Will be twice as good with Amazon. So
Yeah.
I've heard we have a new sponsor this week though.
You've been sitting on your problems for too long, boys. Introducing Glide Right Hemorrhoid Cream. Because your backside deserves better than fire betrayal every time you sneeze, sit down, or think about spicy food. You got burning ring of fire that would make Johnny Cash cry. Glide Right's here to cool your cursed canyon with a refreshing blast of why didn't I do this sooner? No more waddling around like you just rode a horse through hell. No more awkward cushion carrying at work like you're about to give birth through your butthole. Glide Right. Because life's hard enough, your chair doesn't have to be. Thank you, Glide Right. We appreciate it.
Glide Right. Thank you, Glide Right. Man, we will.
Hey,
I think the world would be a nicer place if everybody would just apply a little Glide Right to their rear. I think we
Yep.
all just get along a lot better.
Yep. I actually started putting some right here in the middle of my chest too, because I noticed I wasn't growing a lot of hair there. And actually, honestly, I got a thick patch right in the middle of my chest now. So
Glide,
Okay,
Glide,
all kinds
Glide
of
Right
people.
puts hair on your chest as well.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now guys are going to go out
So-
buying it so they can rub it on their heads.
Yes. Thank you, Glide Right. This podcast is, listen, get in early, sponsors, because, we're not going to be picky. You know what I mean? 6 months from now, ain't no telling.
We're gonna call you out. I mean, everybody from Cox to Glide Right, we're gonna slide
Yes.
right in
Yep.
and take you out.
Mm-hmm.
Take you out. You know why? Because we're big time. Because we are on Amazon.
I mean, yeah.
Are we on
Yeah.
Amazon? Okay,
Right-
I must have got
right
it there and I didn't know it.
Yeah.
All right, so get your podcast on Amazon.
We're gonna need to start being referred to as the International Trio, dude. That's our nickname. Raiders are reselling International Trio.
for sure. All right, let's hit the first, because all I saw was pictures, and we got to get to what happened. So just sitting there the other day, and I get these pictures of this humongous U-Haul, something I usually see on Instagram. You know, somebody comes up with like 20,000 pieces of clothing in a U-Haul trailer, and so Fired Up sends us pictures of this U-Haul that he bought. And then he had it all sorted, and it was
Yeah,
crazy,
it was just hey, I bought a U-Haul of
right?
vintage stuff, and then
I
next
don't
thing
know
you
if
know,
you
he's
guys
sending
can
us a
see that,
video
but
of some homeless guys stealing his shit, and then
yeah, that yeah. See,
we
dude,
need
I wish everybody could be in our chat.
So,
I'm taking care of my people, boys.
so where did you get all this stuff?
So a buddy of mine in the fire department, he called me, or he texted me probably 2 weeks ago, something like that. And he said, "Hey man," he said, one of my guys from high school used to buy and sell vintage, and he has a whole U-Haul that's been sitting up here in Jack's for since high school, and he is trying to get rid of it. So I'm like, he's like, can I give him your number? And I'm like, yeah, for sure. So like a week goes by or whatever, and I finally get a call. I got a call last Wednesday, and um it was the guy, and he was like, basically, this is what I have. They sent me basically like one photo of the inside of the U-Haul, like, so you could just see that there's a lot of stuff in there. And then he sent me another picture of like a Nike ACG, like a like a big puffer jacket. And he's like, so anyway, we met up last Saturday after the flea market, and yeah, basically got into the back of the U-Haul, and there was just, I mean, there's, tons and tons and tons of stuff. So I was just like, I'll buy all of it. So he was like, him and I came to a deal, and yeah, I just bought all of it. And then I I live in a townhouse, so I only have it's a 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom, 1 car garage townhouse. So I don't have the room for, that much stuff um on top of the stuff that I already have. So I went and got a storage unit that's like literally right across the street. It was super cheap. And I put it all in there. I sorted it the same day, um, and got it all, kind
What
of put into
percentage?
categories.
What percentage of it do you think that you did you keep?
I probably tossed 40, 50% maybe,
So about half of it you decided
probably
to
about
keep,
half.
and you're
Yeah.
going to end up at some point running all of that on
Yeah.
whatnot.
So I
Are
have
you
it scheduled for this Friday, which is the
uh,
9th at 1 p.m. But um I might have to push it back to Monday because, like I said, that unit is outside, so it's not inside of a big building, and we're supposed to have some pretty bad thunderstorms here starting tomorrow all the way through the weekend till Sunday. So if I, and there's obviously no power, and I mean, all that other stuff. So if I were to close the door to that unit and do it inside the unit, it's 100 degrees in there. So
so your plan
I
is to
dodged
run the entire U-Haul in one
the
show?
the whole U-Haul in one show. Yeah, there's probably, rough estimate, there's probably 350 to 400 pieces that I kept. Probably.
And so that's what, 3 hours of work, 3 hours show for
Yeah,
you?
I mean, it's
You
going to
think you?
be like everything is going to be, you can't do it any other way than just sudden death and just like a rapid fire. There's going to be
Right.
a handful of pieces that I'll do like a small counter bid time. Because there's like a lot of good like starter puffer jackets. There's a couple Carhartt jackets in there, stuff like that. But a lot of it that's just like kind of like the run of the mill stuff will all just be you know, either 10 or 15 second sudden death, and I'll try to just get through it all, hopefully all of it in one show.
Yeah. Rob, have you
chili
have you
peppers.
ever had a buyout like that, Rob? Have you ever?
I haven't bought an entire U-Haul, but Mike has the same sickness that I have. Like when you see something, you just say, "How much for all of it?"
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I think it does a couple things when you get in that realm. You know, you're not going to make bank off of everything, but now you've got a connection that knows, hey, you mean business, and you know, you don't get that call back when you go cherry picking.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
That's
So
basically what I told him. I said, because when I said everything, he was like, he thought I was going to come over there and just pick a couple pieces or whatever. Because he had like,
Yeah.
there was 4 or 5 other guys that were coming over after me to also do the same thing that I was doing. And
Yeah,
so when I said
he had them
everything,
stacked up.
yeah. So when I said everything, he was like, and I was like, he kind of paused for a second, and I was like, hey, this is like we have like right now money, like we don't have like, hey man, I'll pay you in like a week or something like that. I'm like, if you want to sell everything, like you can have cash in hand like this very second, and I'll put all this shit in the bed of my truck, and we'll be done with it. So like I was there the whole time. I mean, I was there for probably like an hour, and
Why is it always a U-Haul?
well, it was weird. He like,
The pictures on Instagram and all the
yeah.
flexing is always a U-Haul truck. Like,
Yeah, his didn't run either. It was like one of those old, like those old U-Hauls that was basically, it was more or less parked in a lady's yard. That she kind of she had a large yard, and she kind of charged people to park some trailers there, and there were some other like, like large you know vehicles or whatever, and it was just there. I mean, shit was growing all over it, and like,
So it was
whatever. It
just
was
a
in there for a while.
just a storage,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think at some point the U-Haul ran because he drove it to that yard. But who
Well, now
knows?
that it's empty, he's going to drive it out of that yard.
I mean, it's probably gonna need some work.
I've done it once. We got a storage building kind of like that, right when we first started really doing it. And we were probably about the same. Wouldn't you say, Mary? We probably kept 50% of it. Probably about 50% of everything that was in the storage building. And it was a person that had a thrift store too. So they had a thrift store, they had this storage building, and we ended up going through it, about half of it. Nothing was amazing though. I mean, I think there were some cowboy boots and stuff that sold for over 50. Tons of Levi jeans, but this was back when Levi jeans, about 4 or 5 years ago, they just weren't as hot.
Yeah.
If I would have saved them for 4 or 5 more years, I probably could have got some more money.
Yeah.
So it kind of really turned me off of doing it after that.
Yeah.
After
I mean,
having
this is my first time that I've done it like that. I've bought large quantities before, but not necessarily like, this wasn't totally sight unseen. You know what I mean? But like, I didn't go in there and dig. You know what I mean? Like, it was
Right.
just like I saw the base layer of stuff, and that's kind of just like what I based, like the deal off of was.
Yeah,
I
you're
just saw the
taking a
base
chance
layer.
by
Yeah, you know what I mean? So
you're taking
like,
that chance, you're rolling the dice, but and like you guys are saying, I mean, I think you're hoping 50%. So
Yeah.
if you can reach that goal, then you're probably going to end up making money. And I think once you say, "Hey, I'm gonna buy it all," no need to go through it.
Yeah.
I see what I see. You get a better price.
Yeah. That's kind of like there were basically 2 things that as I was going through it, once I got it back, there's 2 things that I took out of the entire lot to put on eBay. Other than that, everything else is going to whatnot. So just the 2 things were like, just, one was a
Red Hot Chili
Portland
Peppers.
Trailblazers. Shit, dude, I wish. One was a Portland Trailblazers like champion warm-up jacket with the pants, and like anywhere on the internet I cannot find a complete set, and the jacket alone sells for like $250 to $300. So like there's a number of sold comps that are in that range, and so I took the jacket and the pants and I listed it pretty high because I literally cannot find one, and I took a pair of like 80s Oregon Ducks basketball shorts, champion basketball shorts as well, and put those up because there was a sold comp the same style for the Kentucky Wildcats, and there's a sold comp for like $500. So
Wow.
yeah, so I put those up there. We'll see how they do, but everything else, I mean, there's still so much good stuff in there, like tons of 90s Nike. There's a lot of good stuff. So
Yeah. So that kind of takes us into like sorting and grading stuff. So I want to hear from you guys out there as well. When you're going through your items or a big haul like that, what do you guys do? How do you determine I'm going to take this to eBay, I'm going to take this to Whatnot, or I may take it to another platform? What what are you looking at to make that decision? And like, I mean, you have to make it in 5 seconds, really. I mean, or you would be there sorting that U-Haul to today still.
Oh, nay.
Yeah. I also think if if I wanted to go to the flea market and be a seller at the flea market, like I could, it cost me $25 and I can go get a spot. And I could have probably taken all of that stuff. Like there's probably, 150 pieces or more that I gave to the homeless that are down the road. And there's probably another about 150 or so that
Yeah.
I
You
donated
could
to
throw it on
Goodwill.
the table for $2 a piece.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so, and not all of it would have sold, you know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
maybe 50% of that 50% would have sold. You know what I mean? And then I could have kind of just grabbed up the rest and been like the next person that walked by, just like, hey, dude, you want all of this for $20? You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but I'm not a flea market seller. You know what I mean? So
Can't keep my man in one spot. He likes to move.
Yeah. Well, because I would be sitting there at the flea market all day, selling this like junk, basically, what I think is junk, and I would be sitting there having FOMO that I can't walk around and buy.
Yeah, you'd be wanting to go to everybody's booth and buy stuff.
Yeah.
Man, to watch
Yeah,
this, I got to go to the booths.
Yeah.
What about you, Rob? When you're going through stuff, how do you decide, or how does the inventory kind of flow through your store? Does it kind of go? Do you grade it first and say, I'm going to take this stuff to eBay, I'll put this on Whatnot? Do you try to sell it
Yeah.
on Whatnot first and then?
Typically, what I will do is I'll destine everything for Whatnot, and then the pieces that stand out to me, I'll set aside to go on eBay. Like if I get a lot of shirts coming in, and I'm pulling out some nice stuff like Peter Millar's, Travis Matthews, and stuff like that. But then out comes a rowback that's going straight up to the Old Bay. That's a hot seller. You go right up there and sell.
Yeah.
Right.
So, what are you looking at? Millions of opportunities for buyers there versus maybe I have two guys in my show that want to bid it up to $20.
Right. You just don't see that brand make it to the price that you're trying to get typically on Whatnot.
That one does not. Yeah, no, typically not. I mean, unless it's like one of the just base ones, so it's just like a solid color. Maybe you could.
What's that other one? Legend and Horn, or Horn and Legend, or something like that.
Holderness.
There's some. That one's probably not the one you're thinking of. You're probably thinking about Holderness and Born.
Yeah,
maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that's really kind of popular, but it's still kind of a mystery here on Whatnot. So it's like
but it gets a good price on eBay, doesn't it?
Yes, it gets a great price on eBay. Sometimes it gets a great price on Whatnot. It just depends on if you have the people in there that know what Holderness Born is.
Right.
So
yeah, when I got some hats, I got a bunch of hats in last week, and I'm redoing my sorting and grading process, and I'm trying to, I don't know, I've did it one way for so long, just took almost everything to eBay no matter what and just listed it for so long, and then trying to filter some stuff out, it's been kind of a challenge for me. Not really, because I know how much stuff is going to sell for. It's just finding the right tempo for the store to keep the sales consistent. Because if I end up like cutting out too much and I don't have enough to list, then it just does on eBay. If you don't list, you don't sell stuff typically on eBay. But so that's where it's really been difficult for me, is to try to keep enough inventory so I can list as much as I need to, but also try to filter some out. And I've been doing a lot of lots. I mean, yesterday Mary happened to have been gone, and so I was like, hey, I was gonna put these on eBay, but I'm just gonna throw these in a lot of 16 hats, and we're gonna throw it up there. We're gonna see what happens, and if I can get some traction there, I may just continue to do that and continue to just throw the lots up, make make a quick couple of dollars on each hat instead of trying to play the long game on all of them. So
I do a lot of like it's like especially like the weekends where I get a lot of stuff, not necessarily like a bulk buy, but just a bunch of small buys happen throughout the weekend and it ends up being a bulk. Uh, I do it almost backwards, where like all of all of the really good things that I find, I put into a whatnot pile. And then
yeah,
it's like, yeah, I mean, and it's only the stuff that I throw on eBay are the things that I know for a certain fact will not do well at all on whatnot. You know what I mean? Like if I find um um like North Face, like North Face crew neck. You know what I mean? Like it's
yeah,
just a super standard $20 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna throw that onto eBay because like I'll get $3 for it or something
yeah.
like that on whatnot. You know what I
Super
mean? But
standard
like
$3 on
yeah,
whatnot.
yeah, and then on the flip side of that coin, when there's sold comps of $100 for a T-shirt, you know what I mean? Instead of being the smart person and just being like, well, dude, I'll throw it on the eBay. This is what I want to do originally was throw it on the eBay until I had a show that I wanted to include that in. And then if it's sold beforehand for like an eBay price, then sweet. But if not, then like I'll put
Right.
it into whatnot and get whatever it goes for. But I find myself like hoarding all of like the coolest, best stuff, not listing it and putting it into a bin for the whatnot show for this week or for a banger show that I would have in a couple months or whatever. Yeah.
So, do you think more people are you guys doing that out there? Let me know. Are more people doing that? Because I'm kind of doing the same thing. If
Yeah.
it's
I think we all are.
if it's not cool enough in your whatnot show, then your whatnot show is boring, and
Mhm.
then you can't sell the stuff that's just kind of cool either, because
Yeah.
you don't have people coming into your store looking for the really cool stuff, and that's interesting that people are actually taking stuff away from eBay, the cool stuff, and trying to put it onto whatnot.
Yeah.
Uh,
Even
Well,
though
it's like you're saying.
that it won't go for like 9 times out of 10, it will not go for that eBay sold comp. You know what I mean?
right.
So it's like you already know, like at least I do. Like I already know, like, hey, dude, this, you know, in the U-Haul, the starter jacket that's $150, or the some of the puffers that are $150, $200, I know aren't going to go for 150 or 200 when I run the show. You know what I mean? But it's just
Right.
like I like
It's the
having it
price of,
in there.
yeah, it's the price of doing business though. It's
Yeah,
you gotta have the hook to bring people in.
yeah. And like
Uh,
I
it-
enjoy that. You know what I mean? Like I enjoy having like fire stuff for people to be like, dude, I can't even believe you ran this. And I'm just like, yeah, whatever, dude. You know what I mean? Like I enjoy that like the thrill of that, I guess.
yeah. So, but if you listed a starter jacket today, how long would it take to sell that
Exactly.
$150 starter jacket?
Yeah. Especially
Yeah.
because it's like the wrong time of the year.
Yeah, and
So now we're back to the fast nipple
Mhm.
or slow dime.
you might get a $75 offer, and you probably would just take it on eBay.
Oh yeah, for
75
sure.
or $80, which is the
For sure.
same price on whatnot that
Yeah.
it probably will go for.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a tough decision.
I accept offers. I mean, like we said last week, all if I have something listed for $100 and somebody offers me 65, but it's been up there for a little bit, I'm taking it. Like
All right.
I don't I don't mind.
All right,
Well,
let's
now
check in with the chat real quick. Hey, we got JD and the DA made it in too. Donnie made it back, and
Donnie.
JD said he did a bulk buy last week. Took me 3 days to go through it all. I filled the dumpster, but will come out on top. Not sure I'll do that again. Kind of the same. So
What was it?
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
what
kind of
what
items?
category of items was it? I'd be curious now because he does I think last week he was saying that he does stuff 20 and over on eBay and then
Right.
less than 20 at the flea market. I'm pretty sure that was him.
Yeah. So,
So I'd be curious to know. I'm in the same boat too, JD. I'm like although it didn't take me long, it took me an hour to, get it all out of this stuff. It took me, maybe a couple hours. What the hell is that? Ephemera? What is that?
Ephemera.
What
Ephemera.
is ephemera?
Paper.
Paper.
Yeah, like old paper and documents or pictures
Old
and
paper and doc. Really?
yes. And a lot of times they just scan it. You just scan it onto eBay and you sell it that way. What's the
What is it called again? How do you say that word?
ephemera?
Ephemera.
Ephemera. So it's
Yeah.
like what, like contracts and stuff that are like 100 years old and things of that nature?
No, like old pictures that are stamp kind of thing were stamp collector stuff
Okay.
and kind
That
of
actually sounds cool to go through.
postcards and just kind of just collectible stuff like that.
That actually sounds like a super fun thing to go through. There's a kind of like an antique store or whatever downtown here, and they
Yeah.
have a big section like right when you walk in that's just super old postcards, and they're all, they all have like the actual writing on them from, whoever sent them however long ago. And it's cool to, like, sometimes I'll just sit there for like 10 or 15 minutes just like, reading what the hell, you know
Yeah,
Darlene said in the 1800s.
I've thought about going into that category. You really got to get this set up with this scanner, and then so you just scan all that stuff in, and then you go straight to listing it. It
That's cool.
seems, yeah, I'm sure it's slower seller than hats. Hats are not the fastest seller either, but I'm sure that stuff's super slow. But you probably
Tony
end
from
up.
Mississippi.
Tony made it in.
What
There
up,
he
dog?
is.
That's dude, the fact that you bought a bunch of ephemera or whatever and you filled up
Filled
a
a
dumpster,
dumpster.
that's great. Dude, you must have bought every picture and postcard and ticket to ever exist.
That must
That
have
is
been
a
like a
lot of stuff.
20-foot U-Haul, you know?
Dude,
Okay.
serious.
Tractor
I
trailer
mean,
there.
you know how many trees died for all that ephemera? Crazy. That's cool though. Do you know any hat resellers? Come on, baby. Come on. Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. I'm in the same boat as JD though. Is depending on how it goes. It took me an hour to get it all out of the U-Haul. It probably took me about 3 hours or so. I'd say maybe a little bit more to actually go through all of it. And so I probably have, we'll just say like 5 total hours into it right now. So
So you
and
would
then
or would not do it again?
I'm not sure. It is like, like if the show goes great and I make a couple
Oh, he would
grand or
absolutely
whatever,
do it again.
then yeah.
Regardless of what
And
the show does, he would do it again.
yeah, probably, I probably would. I don't know. I just I like doing stuff like that. But it's also like I'm not sure, the method to it might change. You know what I mean? Like I maybe will be a little more, all right, well, let me poke and prod here a little bit, or you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm not, and the thing is too, especially with the U-Haul versus doing a bulk buy from another seller or somebody maybe that stores it correctly or whatever, is that a lot of the stuff that I have has stains on it. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? So and to go and launder, a couple hundred pieces of clothing or whatever, it's just like totally unrealistic. So
Yeah. The,
um
the last eBay store that I bought out, I wouldn't do that again. That exact buy. I mean, of course, if there was an amazing one, I probably will not, it'd have to be just an awesome deal to do an eBay store buyout again, because uh, obviously it's been on eBay, and
yeah.
unless they had it like priced super high and it wouldn't sell, I'm going to be wary of ever doing an eBay store buyout again, because it's obviously just kind of junk and didn't sell the first time or for the
Mhm.
first however many months they had it on there. That's probably
Well,
a
I
hard
mean,
That's just
pass
look,
for
where
me.
it's all a roll of the dice, really. I mean, look, I know personally, I bought out a golf seller. I won't name names, but I bought him out, and the stuff I got was great. Now I know somebody else bought out another golf seller, um, and I mean, he wants to go to war over this. It's just junk.
Mhm.
Some of the clothing has mold on it. I mean, it's just junk,
Yep.
and when you put your trust in, for buying out a fellow seller, you kind of put your trust in them. Whereas, with the eBay store and the U-Haul and the other buys I've done, we're trusting our gut more. But we're a little more discerning about, let me see if I see anything in this picture that really makes me want to jump. But you only need that one or two items that says, okay, I could do something with this. Let's see what the deal is.
Yeah.
Right.
That's kind of that's kind of how I feel about it. I'm not sure.
I've
We'll see how it
been
works.
waiting to talk about this for like 2 episodes now. There something always came up, but Darren DA brought it up. Goodwill bins were good to me in San Diego. We're getting a Goodwill bins here in Tulsa. Usually I have to drive like 2 hours away to Oklahoma City to go to the bins, but we're finally getting bins here in Tulsa. It opens up next week. Mary? Yeah, next week. So I cannot wait until I get to go. And the good thing about this is I may be doing more whatnot too, because if I can get my cost of goods down, then to Ben's prices and then I'll mix in some good Ben's pieces I get and some of my other inventory as well.
Right.
It would be really awesome to be able to do some more whatnot and have a better buy price where you can make a little bit more money. I don't know. I might. I would love to be able to do more whatnot.
Congrats on the bins. I wish we had a good one around here, but
it sounds like I'm going to go to Oklahoma.
Crap. I thought you.
Are there any good hotels?
First he wants to go to Virginia. Now he's going to Oklahoma.
Dude, if we're going anywhere, we're coming to Florida, the home of the biggest flea market ever. That's what I want.
Darren and I had the exact same day. Amanda and I were at the bins for 4 or 5 hours today, and I probably got like 30 golf hats, maybe something like that. All pink, Titleist, Callaway. I got, and they all came from 2 bins. 2 bins, and like everybody there knows, they're just like, they're like, hey, so they just started literally picking them up for me and launching them across the bin for me, and I was like, oh yeah, I got so many of them. And
that's crazy. You end up with 40 golf hats for, I mean, with $10 maybe.
Yeah, maybe like
$5.
Ours is $1.59 a pound, I believe. Yeah. So every hat weighs whatever 4 ounces or something.
And so it's no sweat to start something at $3 at that point. It's just no big deal.
Yeah,
I'm gonna Venmo you $20, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, you're like, you got to wash all of them, but like Darren said, they were all in pretty good shape. These ones they're in fine shape. They're just dirty. They're just sweaty and stuff.
Darren's making me salivate over here.
Yeah. Oh, hey, in that I forgot to send you a picture too, Rob. In that unit, there's probably 25 vintage golf polos.
Oh wow.
They're all like just the old school, like, AOP type, they're all just old. Yeah, it's literally all shit like that. You literally got that from me, did you not?
No, I did not get that from you.
Damn. Well, you should have.
I did not get that from you. And I did not get that from you.
Yeah, you got all those from me, dude.
Oh, Mikey, look at this one. Mikey, let me show you this one. Hold on.
That's so fire, dude. I love that shit.
That's like a Southwest print almost.
Yeah, those are good. Amanda picked up a 1997 Ryder Cup like little knit vest too. I was like, that's pretty cool. Listen, I'm trying to do what you say, and you say don't do golf because I want to have a lockdown on the market. Don't do golf. I can't not do golf. It's everywhere.
No,
you need to come. You have to come out here, and you just need to spend 2 days every other month. Come to Florida and buy all of your inventory for the next 8 shows, and then go back to Maryland. It's a 2-hour flight. It's literally right there. Like, it's unbelievable. It's just it's a never-ending.
How would you get all that back? If you bought that
freaking
much,
dude,
mail it.
Southwest,
If you go, yeah, if you
two
fly
free
Southwest,
checked
you get
bags.
two free bags.
Yeah, so you put all of your actual clothes in your backpack, bring it on,
Mhm.
check 2 empty, big ass empty bags. That's 50 pounds a pop. Then bring back 100 pounds of inventory, dude, easily.
I
Like,
thought Southwest was doing away with free bags. I'm
yeah,
pretty
but
sure.
not, they haven't yet because I just
They
looked
haven't,
up.
yeah, they haven't implemented that yet. It's still 2 free
Yeah.
bags right now.
Might be our
Yeah.
next sponsor next week. Southwest on deck.
Oh,
For a
I
sponsor hit.
can't. Yeah,
How
I
about
don't know if I can
Southwest?
do
I love
that.
you guys.
Their hub is like 15 minutes away from me.
Really?
Southwest, before Steven says something horrible about you, I love you guys. I do not condone anything he's gonna say. Yeah, dude. I don't know. I think I've never been to a new Goodwill bins. Like maybe on the first day that it opens or the first couple days. But I'm sure it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, that's
Well,
what I'm wondering.
They'll
So
probably
when I
ship
walk
everything
in,
out that way.
Mhm.
They'll do like every other retailer. You know this, Steven. You'll send all the good shit there
yeah,
for the first month. Have all the best staff members there for the first month, and they'll
Yep.
break you in.
right.
They'll get the community hooked and break you in.
Mhm.
So when a Goodwill bins opens for the first time, when you walk in, is there stuff there or not?
There
Do
should
you
be.
have do you have to wait for stuff for them to bring out bins? Because there wasn't anything there from the day before.
You should walk in and they should have everything set up, all smack loaded, ready to go. Is it a large building?
Yeah, it's a pretty big building.
How
It's
far
a,
of a drive? Like how many minutes is this from your house?
this is 10 minutes.
Oh, dude.
That's what I'm saying, bro. It's
Dude.
the schedule is going to be Tuesday through Friday. We're going Tuesday through Friday, and we're going to hit it. We're not going to go on the weekends. I don't want to mess with the kids, really.
Yeah.
And Mondays is usually just busy shipping, so going to try to go at least Tuesday through Friday, and
Oh,
see
you're gonna
what.
kill it, dude. I'm telling you.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope
You
so.
let me put an air mattress in the hat shed and stay with you for like 3 days.
Well,
Fine.
I'm
So I can
making
go
some
there.
room out there. I just
Hell
gotta
yeah,
get you a little
dude.
air conditioner.
What? Oh, is it hot right? Is it hot right now? in
It's getting
Oklahoma?
that way. Yeah.
Really? Yeah. It's hot as a motherfucker here, dude. It's terrible. And our bins is in like it's like it's not outside, but it's unconditioned and air conditioned, like basically a giant warehouse. They just have like the doors are open or whatever. So
Right.
it's steaming.
Yeah, I love the bins mainly so you don't have to drive around. I mean, I know some days it's just like shitty bin after
Yeah.
shitty bin after shitty bin, but
How it goes.
not to have to drive around and look for stuff all day. And I love it. I think I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait to be on Whatnot more. I can't wait to have cheaper inventory and be able and not worry about it as much. But
Yeah.
that leads me to the hat train. Definitely got to check out the hat train tomorrow. And I tried your
I'm so jealous.
yeah, I tried your loading the store, and I think I would recommend it to anybody that's ever going to do a show again. Just load the store. If you're only, I think you could, if you're only like going to do 30 items like I'm going to do, then just take a picture of those 30 items.
How
put
long did
up
it take you?
15 minutes. The I'm kind of hearing feedback.
Yeah, Mike.
Did you have a different mic come on? Are you on, Mike? Technical
difficulties in Florida.
Oh no. No.
Mike, you have to
Can't
unmute. Mike, you're muted.
Or you might have to go out and come.
And I'm not exactly sure what I hit. So
Okay, you're back.
Dude,
Anyways,
we don't do headphones, dude. We cannot be restricted to having these freaking headphones, dude. I'm sweating. My freaking ears are sweating, dude. I can't even hear anything. Hitting buttons and stuff. Like, golly.
anyways, 15 minutes maybe for, well, probably 20 minutes for 30 items. I kind of did it in spurts here and there, five items at a time. But I already have pre-bids on the banger items. One of them's already bid $22, and there's a lot of the other ones already have $3 bids on them. So if you're gonna do a show, just put the items in there. And I mean, I guess you could even do the little trick of kind of just like you said the other day, people kind of like extend that show date out a little bit. If you didn't have enough bids yet, maybe give it a couple of more days. And I don't know. I like loading the show. I like seeing that some stuff is already getting the respect that it deserves. I mean, there's a banger Copenhagen hat in there, and it's got a pre-bid of $22. I can live with that. Is it a $30 or $40 hat? Probably, but I can live with $22 pre-bid. It's pretty cool. We lost him again. There he is.
Oh Lord, there he's back.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Nope.
Anyways.
Whatever, dude.
Definitely taking the pictures. Definitely loading
Yeah.
the pictures. I'm going to do it that.
Yeah. That's what I
every
was telling
show.
you guys a couple weeks ago, was that the it only takes it don't take long at all to because it's such a quick listing.
I used to preload my show when I did new with tag stuff every week. 285 pieces.
Yeah, that's a lot every week for sure. Even that, yeah, that would take. I mean, even though individually it doesn't take too much time, but when you're doing 280, it's that'll take you some time.
Donnie, was it for the hat raid train that you did it for? Just kind of wondering. Donnie said that he loaded his store too and took pictures of everything.
Yeah, I am so freaking jealous of you guys, dude. Like, I'm so bummed out that I can't do it. And want to know
Yeah,
what sucks
I
even
was-
more is that I'm going to be at work tomorrow spending all my money on the freaking hat raid train, dude. I'm just going to be there. I'll be like, freaking, I'm swiping away, dude. Like, damn.
Swipe away.
I got it worse. Look, I couldn't make my open and slot that he had for me either. And I can't buy anything tomorrow because I'm getting ready to go on vacation next week.
Yeah. Amanda and I are going to Montana at the end of the month, too, for like 9 days.
Montana? Man, I want to go to Montana.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun. Big sky
Yeah,
country.
Yeah. I got a bunch of family there. So we go every so often.
Are you from Montana?
I'm from California.
I knew that.
I'm from a little north of San Diego. Matter of fact, Darren, if you know where Temecula is, that's where I'm from. He probably does if he's in San Diego. It's pretty close. No, my family on my dad's side all live out there, so they own like a bunch of land, and they own trucking company and so on and so forth. So we'll go out there and hang out and go on their land and go shoot shit and fish and do whatever. Go be away from people, because there's like 1.3 million people in Jacksonville, I think, and there's like just over 1 million people in the entire state of Montana. And it's a big ass state too. It's a huge state.
Yeah.
So there's like nobody there.
It's nice, but kind of a summertime thing, right? It's spring
yeah.
and summertime. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, dude, talk about
He doesn't.
some
He never
freaking-
visits in the winter.
Right.
No, you're right, dude. There's no Christmas time Montana, dude. -20 and like, come on, man, beat it. I'm not doing that.
You never take anybody to the train station? You don't even know what I'm talking about, do you?
No, that's why I'm giving you this.
Bro, really?
Yellowstone. That's Yellowstone. Come on, Rip.
The show?
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's go,
All right,
Rip.
bro.
John 90 miles. Yeah, dude. I don't really watch a lot of TV. So,
It's all right.
you know.
I thought that you would get that reference, though. Come on,
And
yeah, give him hell, chat.
yeah, give me hell, boys. Give me hell, boys.
All right, let's get to the last one.
Wait, can I ask you a question real quick?
Of course. That's why
Okay.
we're here.
Do you guys have any big finds this week, or like big anything that like freaking caught your eyes? Like, damn, this is cool.
That Atlanta Braves starter hat that happened to
That's
come
a
out
good
of a
one.
box. Yeah, that was really awesome. I threw it up on eBay, $75. I already have somebody. I guess it comps for about 50 to 60, but I don't think there's another one out there. So that's why I went with 75. And I already had somebody, how much in one word, negotiable ? I said, what? My answer to that usually is always, what's your offer? I put my
Mhm.
price on it. That now give me whatever your price is. I don't think he's answered yet, but that was a really cool hat. That might be the coolest find that I've had this week, though.
Did you get that? One second, Darren. I'm I'm actually from Hemet. Like I grew up the first part of my life in Hemet. I went to Park Hill Elementary. I went to Acacia Middle School, and then that's when I moved to Temecula. Is my ninth grade year. The Hooters bag. The
Check out
Hooters
these
bag.
Hooters. Yeah, that's a banger.
Yeah.
Yep. That's my find of
Yeah.
the week.
Yeah, that is so fire, dude. I love that thing.
Now, where are you going to try and sell that?
Whatnot.
Keeping it.
And in
Whatnot.com.
the corner of my room.
You're not going to sell it?
A Hooters bag? No, that's staying.
Yeah. Are you gonna use it?
Are you? That was my next question.
Well, yeah, it's holding all my clubs.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. I think you need to take that thing. Toe flip, what up, baby? I think you need to take that thing to the course.
Well, I got to get it cleaned up first and get one of the zippers fixed, and then it might make an appearance on a course.
Yeah, that would be a hot
probably-
topic right there.
If I can get it together in the next year or so, I'll take it with me on my next golf trip next year.
Where you going? South Carolina?
No, typically we go to out to west part of Virginia. This year we're going to, for the second year in a row, we're going to go up to Pennsylvania.
Nice. Nice.
So
I heard there's nice rolling courses in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah, right out my door here, we have one. Like, it's that course is high elevations. They got like the 100-yard drop on one of the greens. It's a pretty good course that I live next to, but I don't golf that much. One, I'm
You
Dude,
gotta
I
get
think
a
we need to make a
second-
trip, dude.
Mike,
We need
he's
to
going to
make
need
a
a second
trip.
air mattress.
I know, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, we
Like,
need to. We can do an
couple hammocks.
in-person pod, dude. That'd be so fun. You know what I mean?
we can get one of those rooms and get the lighting and the ambiance. We can set up
Yeah.
some candles.
Yeah.
And,
And then
two-
pan the
2
camera
hours.
over, and
We
I'm
can
big
take off
spoon
our
Rob.
We can take off our shoes and sit cross-legged and maybe sit on the floor with each other.
Yeah, dude, drink some ayahuasca. What?
Can we do s'mores?
We can
Yeah.
eat the s'mores. Yes.
Heck yeah, dude. I'm telling you right now, at some point, at some point in the next year or something like that, we all need to get together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That
Yeah,
it'll
but
be like
I gotta imagine it's got to be a trip to Florida. That way we can thrift while we're there.
Yeah.
yeah. There's so much great shit. If you guys came out on a weekend, dude, that'd be so amazing. We could hit my town on Saturday, and then I can take you guys and like we can do a freaking hardcore trip on Sunday, Monday. Like that would be so
Yeah.
fun.
I want to go to those flea markets so bad.
Yeah, there's so many of them. Like you
gotta-
you
we
have
gotta
you
get
have
you
an
on a
absolute
plane.
blast. Yeah, dude, just take your damn ambient. Get on that thing. You'll freaking wake up. You'll be here.
God, I hate flying. Coming for you, Southwest. All right. So when you're on Whatnot, like, and you're scrolling through and you're like trying to find a show, what is the one thing that makes you swipe away from that show so quick and just try to find something else?
Rob, you want to go?
Yelling at me. Yelling at me.
Yelling at you?
Yep.
Calling you
when
chat?
When the seller is yelling at me, I don't want to talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are they yelling?
The guys that are doing the, come on, chat, run it up, chat. We got a bid, just chat. Come on, chat. I cannot stand that.
Dude, I gotta be honest. A lot of times they have a lot of people in their shows too. Do you guys
Right?
notice that?
It seems like it works a little bit.
And I'm like, but I don't, because Rob and I might have different viewpoints on something else, but like I'm the exact same way. I absolutely hate that. Like it's the most annoying thing in the world to me. Like it's so annoying. I don't even really care all that much about the chat term. Like if you're just casually, I guess talking to everybody, like that doesn't bother me as much. But like the constant, like, I said this the first show, the constant, like, this is the $100 eBay thing, and I cannot believe that it sold for $15, and they're so mad, is the most annoying thing in the world. That, and I will say this on top of that one, the other one that maybe is on par is the $1 starts, or whatever, $3 blank amount of starts, and then you go in there and you're like, hey buddy, will you do, can you run this thing, right? Like this shirt, hat, whatever. And they're like, oh well, uh I gotta start that one at 30. What? Like, what do you mean? Do you it's behind you on a rack or whatever, and it says everything is $1 or
Right.
$3 or whatever, and then it's like, but you want, what I mean? That annoys me too.
Yeah.
So why do the people yelling at the chat have such big rooms sometimes? Do they have just great items that everybody's going to sit there and listen to it? Or
I don't
you
know.
think
There's a guy that has, like, he definitely has some good items, but he has a lot of just run of the mill, mid items, some bangers, but mostly mid. And he does that, and he'll have 70 to 100 people in there basically every time I see him, and I'm like, and it's so annoying. I'm like,
But see,
maybe
that
those
that
people
comes
like
to
being yelled at? Maybe
that's
those
what
are
I'm
the
thinking.
what do they call those? Is it sadist or
It's
well, I
it's
that
called
think a lot of
that you love being put down or humiliated or
yeah,
it's
it's
called
sadist.
it's
Yeah.
called it's called ephemera.
it is
You
not.
know,
It's
if you're there from the beginning and you're part of the energy that show has, and you're into the items, then it's not going to bother you. But for me, if I roll up in your show and you're just screaming and shouting, I don't want to be there.
Yeah, yeah. I
It's
mean, if
just
they have good stuff,
there's too many other sellers.
yeah, there are times where, like, there has been something in there I've at least wanted to attempt to get, and I'll just
Same.
mute it. I'll just mute
Agree.
it.
Yeah.
I'll
I'll
still
stay
type
for a
in there or
certain amount.
whatever, just so they know that, like, I'm looking at this thing, like, so if you can run it, but I won't know what they respond. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
then, like, I'll
I'll
give
stay
that a
for a
little bit.
certain amount of time,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then if I get the piece, great. Then I bounce, and then if I don't, then once I
yeah.
reach my limit, I'm out,
hmm
whether I get it or
That,
not.
and we talk about this too, is the um not, taking forever in a day to run an item. You know what I mean?
right.
Like, it's just, like, how I look at it is like, if you show it, might as well just hit start. You know what I mean? Because, like, if it takes you 10 seconds to show it off or whatever, and then, like, nobody wants it, but it's like you could have 15 seconds of just, like, it going anyway or whatever. You know what I mean? So, like, the whole, like, uh yeah, that shit kind of drives me insane sometimes too. Especially if it happens, like, the whole show. It's like annoying.
Right. Yeah, for me it's pretty much the same. If you're not going to run anything, then I'm just swiping. And
Yeah.
cuz I mean you kind of build an audience just running stuff. People want to see what stuff is selling for, what's going to be next. It's part
hmm
of the excitement of it. I don't
Yeah.
care if they're it's good to make fun of, and I think it's pretty funny. I don't really care if they're yelling at me, but it's annoying
You
for
don't want to
sure.
stay there for long. You know what I mean? Like, there's shows that we've all been in that you can be in there for a couple hours, and it's like, it's no big deal, but you can go into those shows for sure, but it's not something that I would want to, spend a couple hours being in or whatever, like,
So
yeah.
what about in our own shows though? When do you feel like you always feel it like, hey, my show just hit a wall, and I just what happens? Is there anything that y'all have kind of noticed that, hey, whenever this happens, I kind of start losing viewers? And is it is it really that important to like run the giveaway to keep it engaged? Do you think all that is important? Or,
I don't
I would
think
say to you that I definitely think me running continual giveaways keeps people in there. Now, I don't know if the people in there are there for the giveaways or because the fact that I'm running giveaways juices the algorithm, keeps my show up toward the top of the list every night that I'm running. So
Yeah,
But
that's
I can tell you,
did
my
hear
wife
that.
has actually said that to me. She's like, "Hey, the more you run those giveaways, that's really keeping a lot of people in your stream."
Yeah,
But
I did
yeah,
hear the whole giveaways is better for the algorithm as far as like having your show
Yeah.
higher on the.
do you notice the same thing, Mike? Like,
Well, really the big walls for me, especially when I first started, is like succumbing to the pressure of the chat. To especially if you don't have things preloaded. Oh, I mean, even if you do, definitely, but originally when I didn't preload anything ever, and it was just kind of all behind me, like the hats, and uh, you might have 50 hats, and there's like five like really, really, really good ones. Um, and running all of those, fairly early in the show to where there's like one or none left. You know what I mean? Then that's always kind of where I would be like, oh damn, you know what I mean? Because now you have 35 other hats or whatever, or 30 or 25 other hats, and it's like, but you don't have any of those like real eye catchers back there. They're kind of all the $10 hat or whatever. Um,
right,
you know what I mean? So that's why I was saying last week when we were talking about the chili pepper shirt that it's just important that like you're in control. Like if this is your show, you know what I mean? Like you want to do your best to give the people what they want, but it's also your show, and you have to be strategic about when you're gonna put the handful of really, really, really good items that you're gonna have into your show and stagger them out to where there's always something to look forward to up until the very last minute.
right.
You know what I mean? So
So is that are those really the only what? How do you get out of the hole? How do you get your show back on track and build a little bit of excitement? Is that the time to run a really great item, or do you
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you gotta pull a higher quality piece at that point to get the spark going again.
Hmm.
right? Because sometimes you get
Or
caught
or,
in
or
like
sometimes what I'll do is I'll switch gears. So you'll see I'll be dead in the water with some shirts, and I might switch over to, hey, anybody want to buy some shorts tonight? And
Dude, that happened to
bam,
you just a couple weeks ago, Coach, and you murdered it. Like it went,
yeah,
you hit a handful of back to back to back to back T-shirts that didn't sell at all, and you were like, yeah, beat it. And I think you either went to crew or pants or quarter zips, and they were like 25, 30, $35, dude. And he
yeah,
sold literally all of them. And that was his show for the next 30 or 40 minutes because,
yep,
and then when he went back to the shirts, all of a sudden those same shirts that weren't selling for the original $10 price were now $15 and $20 shirts. You know what I mean? Like that's a
yeah,
super good, that
yeah,
is a super good tip.
new blood had came in at that point.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That is a
but in the
fantastic
meantime,
tip.
while I pivot, like if you've got say 35, 40 people hanging in your show, the show gets stale to them. They've seen you run the same damn shirt 100 times now. They've seen your whole inventory of shirts. So now they're like, what's next? 3 shows in a row, I've been bought out of shorts. And I just happened to have them sit over there. It's like I told my wife, I was like, we were out Sunday. I said, I got to stop up at this little store on the way home. Little place down the way from us. It's just a off the track kind of thing. Not a Goodwill or anything, just a thrift store. I said, I need to stop in there and see if we got any shorts because I don't have any for Saturday. And I know I need to have something. I mean, I came out there with a stack like that. But I'm ready to go. So, but you got to have that. You got to be able to pivot like that. And that's also why I keep that hat thing fresh every week, because then I can pivot to the hats as well. And people see the hats that aren't there for the shirts and say, oh, well, that's catching my eye. Can we run that?
Yeah.
yeah,
The real question is for Steven and I that often do, one, even though golf's a category, but, there'd be, just a golf shirt or just a golf hat or just a golf pant. And for Steven and I that do, just a hat show or just a shirt show, does get a little bit tricky because, there's not really pivoting off of that. It's not really a way to
Well,
go to different
you got to
stuff.
pull out one of those bangers. You don't want to
You
run.
have to. You have
Yeah.
to.
Well, wait a minute. Now I would say this. Now, when I run my hat shows, my hat only shows, when I'm in another room, you got the 2 racks on the table full of hats. I try and keep it exciting by running a buyer's giveaway like every 20 hats. So
Right.
now it's easy to work through 20 hats if you got 40 people in the room. There's going to be something they see.
Yeah.
They don't all have to be bangers. Just have that good quality like every one of us has. The three of us here for certain. But if
That's
you
what I'm
keep going
thinking
20,
about doing.
bam.
Is
Yeah.
maybe like the Hat Ray Train definitely got a good giveaway. Going to be giving away some earbuds, and I'm thinking I might do that in like the other shows, like be able to kind of stop and do a buyer's giveaway maybe every 15 or 30 hats. Say as soon as we hit 30 hats, we're going to do this buyer's giveaway, and then we're going to give another one off, give something else away. But
Yeah.
that gets kind of expensive. But I know what you're saying too, Mike. It's hard to really, the only other thing you have in your back pocket is a banger, and
Yeah.
then you're falling into well, I don't want to give away all my
Yeah, you
bangers
still kind
too
of want to
early
keep
either.
those till the end. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I think the best thing that, especially anybody that is brand new at the Whatnot game, and you know for a fact that you have 100 items, and out of those 100 items, maybe all of them are good, but there's 10 like premium quality ones. Then like you have to make a mental note of like, every 10 regulars that I run, I'll run a premium. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or like you have to do a good way, and you cannot let guys like me sit there and be like, hey, run that sports specialty splash. You know what I mean? And then the next guy comes in and like, hey, also run that shark tooth, and you're running all the premiums, within a couple hats of each other, and next thing you still have 60 more to go, and there's none
Right.
of those like real eye catchers. That'd be my best advice. You know what I mean?
For sure.
If you don't have a multi-category show like Rob does, like if you do, then Rob's advice is literally the best advice that I can think of off the top of my head, is to
For
be able to
sure.
pivot, and it worked. If anybody was in there, it worked incredibly well. He did a great job.
Yeah, it is a great show.
Whether it's multi categories or single categories, it's all about keeping the audience engaged, keeping them looking forward to what's coming. If they're just looking at the rack of hats, they can see that. If they know there's a carrot at the end of the rainbow, boom, we got to get them there.
Right.
I also, last thing on this for me is going back to, because we had this conversation with Rob months ago, but being able to showcase your inventory behind you. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's, one of the biggest things, ever, whether you're a hat person or you sell antiques or, whatever it is that you sell. If you can utilize like how horribly I do on this podcast, where you can see behind the other two guys, so, you like that
Yes.
OU hat above his shoulder,
Over here
or
we
you
have
like
hats.
ping hats. Yeah. And then you could be
Shirts.
like, hey man, you can hit him up on Instagram and not even wait for the show and be like, hey buddy, I saw this hat and I like it, can I buy it from you? It's the same exact thing, but in the Whatnot shows, being able to have inventory behind you where they're not only reliant on you to grab something so they can see it for themselves back there. You'll also keep a lot more people in there for a longer duration of time, because they might stay there to wait for the thing that they see, but in the process of them waiting for that thing, sometimes they'll end up buying other things along the way. You know what I mean?
What about the loading the shop though? I know we talked about how good it is, and I am with it, but people kind of can you get lost in the shop and not actually be swiping on stuff?
Yes. I'll go back to when I used to run nothing but new tag shows, 285 pieces. I would literally lose people in the store.
Right.
And I would just be sitting there waiting for a number to come up. Hey,
that's why I took all the hat pins out of the store.
Yeah.
Is because there was so many in there and you couldn't find.
Well, if you go to
things I really
if you go to my
sell.
shows that you've seen in the past few weeks, the upcoming weeks as well.
Eric? We lost you, Coach.
Hey, we get one show without. Oh, there he is. Oh,
recovery.
Dude, I was about to drop a freaking heater on you too, dude. That's about to be hilarious.
Yeah. So I was waiting for the old Bluetooth to go off.
the 50 different branded Bills hats loaded up for people to see and buy, but it was masking everything else that was in there. So that's why I refreshed that and took it out and just put, brand new hat, pull. So now you can see the hats. And like the other show I did, somebody came in and said, "Did you still got branded Bills hats?" And yeah, I could pull them right off the shelf and show them to you.
Right.
Yeah, I think I never really thought about it like that, Stephen, where if you have, see, with 30, 50, or so items preloaded in the store, I think your chances of getting lost in the store are very small because, it's probably only 2 or 3, swipes on your phone before you get through everything. But then some of the ones that you go into, and usually these people have a lot of people in there, so it might not be too big of a deal, but they have, 400 or 500 pieces that are loaded. You can definitely for sure get lost looking at items in the store and not swiping on the items that are being ran. So I never really thought about it like that though. But I think you're probably pretty safe if you stay in that like 60, if it's not smack full of 280 items, I don't think they'll get too low. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Right. Well, I wanted to sell my hat shapers in the store, and I just felt, and I had all those pins in the store, and I felt like people couldn't find the hat shapers for one. So I took everything else out, and that was just that there whenever I really wanted to push on the hat shapers. And I think it helped out a lot. And I just felt like people in there looking at pins and not swiping on the hat that I have held up on the screen. I don't know. I don't know if it's good to do a mix show like that. Like have stuff buy it now and 100 items you're just going to run that aren't even loaded.
I do it all the time.
Right.
I do it all the time.
Yeah, Coach's store is like smack full of buy it nows.
Yeah, the buy it now is just jam packed with all the stuff from Japan.
Yeah, I've never done a buy it. I've never done a buy it now thing.
Well, the other thing about that is they stay in my, off show store as well.
Yeah. Do you ever get any sales when you're not live?
Yeah, I've been getting sales periodically for the stuff that's in that Japan box. I just sent out last week a Titleist hat clip and ball marker.
I wonder if you would you be able to go in there, say, one of the hats that's on buy it now, would you be able to go in there and say it's been in your buy it now for 3 months and you're just ready to put it up in one of your $5 shows or whatever? Can you just go in there and just edit it and just hit for the auction platform?
Yeah, you don't even actually have to edit it. I could go, if you're in a show, you could go into, how you go into your store to start an auction?
Yeah.
You could go into the buy it now, and then where it says, item situation, you hit that button, and one of the options is run as auction.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You just it just tells you to set the parameters.
That's kind of interesting.
And off you go.
Actually.
Yep.
Because you could almost load a Whatnot store, just like an eBay store, a month in advance, and anybody that wants to pay, I guess maybe the price that you want for it can buy it, or if not, then you could just run all of them as you typically would, maybe. I don't know.
Right.
I'm more of a grip and rip kind of guy. You know what I mean? Right. So freaking like I won't be doing that, but there's so many ways. You know what I mean? There's just like there's endless ways that you can run a store or anything. Freaking yeah.
All right, I think we made it. So when are you going to be on next, Coach?
This Saturday at 7 p.m.
All right.
See all this fine items behind me.
And the store is going to be loaded for sure.
Yes.
When are we going to see you? When are we going to see the U-Haul? Where do you got a special name for this? U-Haul Madness?
It's all right lowercase, there. All lowercase. I bought a U-Haul full of vintage, baby.
Yeah.
No, I have it scheduled for Friday. Like I said, the weather here, it says that it's supposed to rain, and if it rained anything like it did today, that's kind of a big problem. So if I don't do it on Friday, it's already scheduled for Friday. You guys can go in there and bookmark it or whatever. Then it will definitely be on Monday. It's just I can't do anything about the weather. So
And I'm going to be on the raid train tomorrow, so definitely check that out. It's going to be a
Yeah.
fun time. It's already loaded up. Going to be fun. Going to start picking the bins next week. Can't wait for that. Can't
Yeah,
wait
same.
can't wait for some bin stories. I'll have some bin stories for sure to share with you guys. And until then, did we miss anything in the chat, Coach?
No, I think we're good. I think we're caught up. There was
Caught
talk
Yeah,
up.
thanks for
about-
everybody being here, dude. We got Toe Flip, JD. I don't think I've seen. I'm not sure if I've seen Marshall in here the other week, so I appreciate
Marshall, MJ, welcome to the chat. Good
that.
seeing you.
Darren, old hometown hero. You know what I mean? Big Donnie's always here hanging out with the boys. Tony's up in here,
Lot-
diehard Cowboys fan. I mean, that's it's a bit of an issue, but it is what it is. So
JD said he hates to see the seller smoke.
they hate seeing the seller
sure.
smoke. Wait, they
Smoking?
smoke?
Oh, there's a lot of
Vaping?
people that smoke on TV, on whatnot. Shit, I've seen people
Really?
getting high on there.
Apparently,
supposed to drink,
it's
but
against the.
You're not supposed
Yeah.
to drink, but half the people on there get drunk.
I was gonna say, apparently it's against the rules, and there's like a whole like buy a seller a shot thing, and like when they do birthday streams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, I turned it. Listen, I'm already an absolute liability, dead sober. Let alone, hey, listen, you give your buddy freaking about 2.5 twisted teas, dude. You don't even know what I'm about to say. So
JD
I can't
doesn't
be
like
drinking on the
when,
internet like that.
People take forever to
Yeah.
start an auction.
Yeah, you're gonna get banned one of these days, but not yet.
Yeah, no,
We're definitely gonna be around for next week. We're worldwide now, from Australia to
worldwide.
Canada. It's good to see you guys. Leave us a 5-star review if you're listening to us on podcasts, and then also leave us a comment there in the podcast. Will really help us reach everyone on the podcast streams. I appreciate everybody hanging out today.
heck yeah. Thank
We'll
you guys.
see you
Appreciate it.
again soon next week. Hopefully Tuesday or Wednesday, 7
Yeah.
or 8 ish. We'll see you
Yes.
guys.
But yeah, this is a fluid schedule here, boys.
Definitely fluid.
Definitely fluid.